Hey guys, hope everybody's well. Just gonna share some random thoughts on moisture. One of the things that I think a lot of folks get confused about when we talk about moisture is water as moisture, because we've talked about it in a couple of other videos. If you haven't checked out my video, Moisture 101, Oils 101, and that should definitely give you some, give you a baseline. But essentially your hair is only moisturized by water. Oils and butters such as shea butter, cocoa butter, anything like that essentially seals the water in or locks the water in. I think that's confusing for a lot of folks who are coming from relaxers, because when you had a relaxer you would think to yourself, water as moisture? No way. And I think the other thing is people are maybe, if you're newly natural, kind of confused because you're thinking, so are you saying that when my hair is dry I should just go and put water on it? I'm not saying when you say, oh, my hair is dry, I need to moisture, I'm not saying go and kind of just rub water through your hair at that second. I'm saying that you need to essentially build a routine that has more water getting into your hair. So you can co-wash or no poo 1 time, 2 times. I mean, you can do it as often as necessary. Let your hair tell you. I think a lot of people are still kind of in that old train of thought that, oh, you know, washing your hair more than once every 2 weeks or more than that is just bad for your hair, and that's not true at all. Even before I went natural, one of the best things I did, a dermatologist had told me, because I was having a problem with dandruff, so I thought my hair was dry. So I certainly wouldn't think that washing it more often would be the answer. But I saw a dermatologist and she said you need to go to washing your hair at least every other day, probably every day, until it's really under control. And then from there she suggested that, you know, you probably should wash your hair every other day or so. And that was the best thing I ever did for my hair. So that you're natural, same thing. Water is the only source of moisture, so you want to wash your hair, get as much water in as much as possible. So co-wash or no poo as often as you feel your hair needs it, until you're starting to see that you're not having issues with dryness. Like I said, I co-wash no poo probably 2-3 times a week, sometimes even more. As it gets colder, I'll usually cut back, and as my hair has gotten longer and takes longer to dry, I've cut back a little bit. But even now I still co-wash at least once a week, and the days when I'm not co-washing like today, I usually still, not only for the sake of making sure my hair doesn't get dry, but also because, I don't know, I find it's actually easier to style. So today I wore a twist out, and in the shower on days when I'm not co-washing or no pooing, I usually rinse my hair with water and just kind of completely, you know, let it get really wet, and then just go through and I'll twist it again. And if, you know, hopefully you have enough time in the morning so you're not walking out of your house with dry hair. That's the other thing. Walking out of your house with wet hair does not give you a cold. I think that's an old master's degree in public health here. So going outside in cold weather is not going to give you a cold. Granted, going outside with your hair wet and being cold does mean that your body is using more of its energy to ensure that your head and your body's warm, and the more energy it uses in one place means there's less energy being used in another. So it does mean you probably have less energy being used in your immune system, that sort of thing. But no, the only way you're going to get a cold or something like that is to get in contact with a virus, and just going outside in the cold does not necessarily make that happen. I walk outside with flip-flops on in the winter all the time and with wet hair all the time, and never really have a problem with cold. So just generally, that's some thoughts on moisture. When people say you need to moisturize more, it's not saying, oh, well, you need to go right now, run into the bathroom and put some water on your hair. Essentially, it means you need to build up your routine, your regimen of washing and co-washing your hair more often. So hopefully that's helpful. Talk to you guys later. Bye.